Take two, Tackles and Tinnies listeners. Gazzy and I were yapping on for about 10 minutes and the software just shut itself. So we'll try again. Gazzy, how are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, right? Cheers. Take two. Let's do it again. What did we say before? We said a little bit about
What's in your world,
the
mate? You had
getting
your
ready.
triathlon, you got your Bucks party.
Yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening. It's very exciting. So I can't wait to celebrate with everyone this weekend. Um, the Bucks parties this weekend. Playing a bit of golf. And in triathlon. So that was a great experience. I would recommend everyone to try a bit of a triathlon if they love their running. Um, Swimming for me was the hardest part, but it was a good swim, 900-meter ocean swim, and then from there into a bike ride. So 30K bike ride into a 7.5 kilometer run. So quads made it. So I'm stoked. Just a little bit of recovery posts, and got back in the gym today. So feeling pretty
Unreal.
good.
On the grind, brother. Mate, the
Yeah.
900 meters swim, I was saying before in the other recording, but insane. Like, still insane to me. Just going out into the ocean, swimming 900 meters. And as you said, there's three boys that you got to go swim around. You hold it up, you're looking around, trying to find where the boys.
And the
Like,
waves
that's
are crashing. The
cooked,
waves are
man.
crashing. They're pulling you back into shore, and you're like, "Oh, gee."
How
But
far do you reckon you go out before you, like, do a turn?
yeah, I reckon you're like 300 meters out.
Cooked, man.
So you swim like almost 300 meters out, 300 meters like sideways, and then 300 meters back to shore. It was good. I'm gonna do another one, so join us next time, right?
I think the viewers would like to see me sink. I was saying before, I got in high school, decent runner, decent at other things, but I was called by my HPE teacher a sinker. So if that's any indicator of how good I got a triathlon, I'd, if this ever gets like 1,000 likes, I'd give it a crack.
Yeah,
But that's the
yeah,
only
that's
incentive.
we've heard it first, Ryan. We've heard it first. 1,000 likes when Ryan does a triathlon.
Clip it up. I'm going to post it on social media. 1,000 likes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I will do a triathlon. There you go.
All right,
Done.
done,
Locked
done.
in. Um, Gazzy, Bucks party on the weekend. Pumped for you. Ready to rally around you and have the best time. Um, yeah, obviously a few surprises and mischief going to be happening. So keen for that. Hopefully golf can stay dry enough where we can hit the ball and not some water, which is the main thing.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait to celebrate with everyone.
It's going to be sick. All right, Gaz, let's get to business, mate. Physio corner. Let's try again.
Yeah, let's go. Take two. But it has been a wild week with the NRL Casual Award, so let's break it down. But let's go to the Raiders first. We've got English forward Matty Nicholson. He's out for about 12 weeks after copping a syndesmosis injury and fracturing his fibula right at the death last week. They've got some relief with Corey Horsburgh returning from concussion just in time with the clash against the Titans. Speaking of the Titans, they'll be without Isaac Fa'asumalawi due to a concussion protocol, but there is good news. Kieran Foran's returning, so he's finally back, right, for his first game of the season.
Huge.
Over at Cronulla, Tommy Hazelton, he's out with a sternum injury, but that's not very long term. They reckon they'll monitor him week to week and see how he's going. The Sharks, they'll be boosted with Talakai returning and then Teague Wilton working his way back via the reserves. To Melbourne, to the Storm, Harry Grant, he's also in the reserves and he's racing against the clock to prove that he's fit for Origin after a hamstring injury. So hopefully, for Queensland's sake, that Harry Grant can get back onto the field. To Newcastle, winger Greg Marju and Leo Thompson are out, while in the Eels, they welcome back Zach Lomax. And that's a crucial return as he tries to lock down a Blues jersey. But Bailey Simonson, he's gone for up to 10 weeks with that foot fracture. To Brisbane, to the Broncos, big blow for Ben Hunt. He's out for at least a month with a hamstring tear, so he's likely to miss Origin 1. And Jock Madden, he also needs surgery on a torn pec, so he's going to be sidelined for a couple of months. Bulldogs have lost Jamin Salmon for up to 10 weeks with a fractured ankle, while Lindsay Collins returns for the Roosters this week. And to the West Tigers, they're missing Fonu Pole with a meniscus injury, but they do get back Stafford Toa. And to the Rabbits, they've got Alex Johnston back as he chases that all-time try record. But hooker Peter Mamazolalis, he's out with an elbow injury. To the Dragons, Toby Couchman, he picked up a right shoulder sprain, but he's aiming for a round 14 return. Tyrone Sloan's elbow seems all right, though. He's been named to play. To the Warriors, we've got a few star backs. A few stars back. Fisher Harris, he's tracking well, and Roger Tuivasa Sheck. Twinkle Toes, he might suit up after being close to return last week. They are missing Bunty, Alfoa, and Jackson Ford, though. And over to North Queensland, Tomalolo. His calf injury is going to keep him out for at least another week. And finally, David Fafita from the Titans. He's getting ankle surgery and he's going to miss about a month. While Storm winger Will Warbrick, he's still dealing with a nasty concussion and will return whenever he's good and ready. But plenty of movement over the injury front, Rye. We'll keep an update on who's in and who's out, and then who's racing the clock for Origin.
Yeah. Well done, Gazzy. Very thorough today. I think the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones, would definitely be Maddie Nicholson with that syndesmosis injury. So that's a high ankle sprain. Can you give us a bit of a rundown about that one for us?
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah, so the high ankle sprain, it's a little bit worse or a bit longer in rehab compared to a lateral ankle sprain. So your lateral ankle sprain are the ones that, if you're a footy player, you've probably had a swollen ankle before. It's over on that lateral side. So if you're on your right foot, it'll be that right hand side or the outside of your foot, and it just swells. So that's more of like an ATFL or CFL strain and injury. Whereas the higher ankle sprain, that's your AITFL. So it's the ligament above that. And then it's like the syndesmosis. So it's you're picturing your tibia and your fibula. And then they've got connective tissue that kind of combine and squeeze that kind of complex together. So that syndesmosis is injured. So like it's either the fibers have pulled apart, or the ligaments have pulled apart, and so you get a lot of instability below the knee, so between the tib fib. And Matty Nicholson, so he's out for a couple of months, so that's 12 weeks. That's 3 months. Likely surgery, and then kind of that rehab to return to sports. So a couple of weeks for those injuries.
And we never want to put negative juju on anything, but is there much setbacks in regards to a high ankle sprain like that?
Yeah. So once you've had a syndesmosis injury, it's likely, like once you've got any type of injury, it's likely if you continue to play high level sports, especially, that it might return. But most of the times, it's like any injury. If you sprain your ankle and you do the rehab, a lot of the times it is a lot better. Like you do get back to sports, and you might twinge it here and there, but overall, it should be pretty good.
Yeah. And obviously, Matty Nicholson's been absolutely on fire, so it's a huge loss for the Canberra Raiders. He's been a great find from overseas, but they've got a pretty handy replacement in Zach Hosking. He's had a few weeks back now, so he's going to slot right back into that starting position that he originally had from Nicholson, actually, which is ironic. I think the other big one, not a mainstay player in terms of first grade, but a pretty significant injury in terms of a torn pec with Jock Madden. What about that one, Gaz?
Yeah, so torn pec, that's usually a couple of weeks because with pecs, like usually what's torn is the pec connects to the front of your shoulder. So the tendons that connect into it, they're typically just like they've come off, or it depends on the grade of. If it's a full rupture, usually straight in for surgery. The doctors find the tendon and then pull it back up and attach it to the shoulder. So not sure how bad this injury is, but if it requires surgery, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. and more so like probably past that 3 months, and they wouldn't want to rush him back. So I'd say even 6 months. So
Wow.
you're looking at like towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, that's huge. Obviously, a halfback going down is never ideal, but again, pretty handy replacement in Ben
Mm.
Hunt. But hamstring corner strikes again with a significant blow, and obviously,
Yeah.
as Queenslanders, Gazzy, that's pretty detrimental to us. And this sort of segues to later on, but Tackles and Tinnies listeners, Gary and I are going to pick our Origin teams and going to have a little debate over who's going to be there and who shouldn't be there. So we'll save that for later, but definitely the Ben Hunt situation for Queensland is a huge, huge loss. Yes, Salmon as well. So again, it's another ankle fracture. So not ideal. I think that's pretty much wraps it all up. Gazzy, you got any other words for Physio Corner for this week?
Um, no, I think I hope that heading into Origin, that these players, a lot of the players, stay healthy because at least that way Queensland can have their best team, New South Wales can have their best team, and we're gonna have an epic clash.
Yeah, and that's what
Looking
we
forward
want.
to it.
We want fairness. We don't want any excuses when Queensland are triumphant. That's for sure, Gazzy.
That's cool.
There's goal. All right, so guys, news around the ground. So, Manly, Randall, I know you're listening, mate, and I know you'd be bloody banging your head against the wall here, but Manly's internal strife. So, DC's public declaration of impending exit has reportedly caused a rift in the Sea Eagles dressing room. Veteran NRL journalist James Hooper noted and quoted, "There's a real divide," attributing to Cherry Evans' decision made live on TV, which blindsided the club and had substantial impact on team morale, according to news.com. The Sea Eagles have suffered 4 losses of the last 5 games and have some senior players feeling that DCE's announcement has derailed their season. Guys, it's only like round 8. Sorry, not round 8, round 10, still wild, like a third of the season done. Anyway, the situation has drawn parallels to past instances where key players have departed affected team dynamics. Lockie Galvin, according to news.com. And what are your thoughts on that, Gazzy?
Mm. Yeah, it's still early days, and I think Cherry Evans moving side, like moving teams. Where's he going again?
Hasn't signed anywhere yet, mate.
Is it to the Not yet. Okay, I thought there was
Potentially,
word
the
earlier this.
murmurs are the Roosters, but nothing's put pen to paper yet.
Okay, interesting. No one's picking him up yet. Hmm. Um. Yeah, they shouldn't. I mean, I can understand as like a team, you're losing your halfback that's been the halfback for like how many years? Like, yeah, a long time. So there might be a little bit of animosity there. Um, but overall, it's like the high level athletes. It should be like as someone else, and you can understand from at least Cherry Evans' perspective, he's getting to that stage where it is, close to retirement. So, yeah, it's a tough one. That one, I can see how there is a bit of an impact on the team's morale, but they're a great team, the Sea Eagles, so they should bounce back. They'll gain someone, another halfback, and they'll gel together and then learn each other's games, and then hopefully whoever slots in can be a weapon for Manly.
It's just like I'm just thinking about it right now. The DCE Lockie Galvin situation are almost parallel to one another. They're very similar in regards to essentially giving the club the maximum amount of time to say, "Hey, well, I'm not staying here." You've got the maximum amount of time now to recruit or train the next person to come up. We were like bagging Lockie
Mm.
Galvin. We haven't really bagged DCE about it. So kind of contradicting to a lot of people, including myself at some periods of time. I think DCE, I think he's earned that respect though, where Galvin, on the other hand, is only new and he's just sort of like, look at me, I'm the next big dog on the park. Where DCE's got all those reps. He's a championship winner. He's a Queensland great and legend and has carried many series. He's played for Australia. I think he's earned that right, where Galvin, on the other hand, hasn't yet. I'm not saying he can't in the future. So I think that's where the backlash is coming from the public side of things. But in regards to DCE and the locker room situation, I think it's a bit of a cop out. Like, if your team's not functioning to the maximum capacity, I think that's just literally probably to do with the coach. I think some players who are underperforming, like, I hate putting names out there, but Ruben Garrick hasn't been very good for the past, like, probably month. Ola Kawatu's picked up a minor injury about a month ago, a similar situation to what's his name? I just literally said his name. Ruben Garrick, sorry guys. Ruben Garrick, yeah, very similar and parallel to a form slump. I don't know, but we'll keep going. Gary's audio or video might cut out, so we'll keep persevering. And I'll go to the next article.
Yeah.
But this carries on to DCE with the Maroons currently. So Cherry Evans' form slump has also put his position at Queensland at risk. So Cowboys' Tom Dearden is emerging as a strong contender for the number 7 jersey, especially if DC performance doesn't improve. That's huge to note because this week, particularly, it's actually the Cowboys versus Manly. And the biggest thing is Dearden has actually moved to number 7. So it literally is a battle of the halfbacks potentially for that final halfback position in Billy Slater's team. If Dearden absolutely rips in and Cherry Evans doesn't do anything, I tell you what, it could be a bit of a surprise pick. What are your thoughts on that, Gaz?
Yeah, 100%. Can you hear me, Ryan? Just
I
want to
can hear
check
you,
that my
brother.
mic's
Yep,
all right.
just your video.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, that's epic because Tommy did, and he is a very strong contender. Like he's a great half. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see those two teams because they'll be really battling it out. Hey, they'll be battling out for that position. So yeah, really good one to watch, especially this close to Origin.
All right, so Gaz, going off that point, what is your thoughts on the Queensland halfback situation? As I just said, it's the battle this weekend. Cowboys versus Manly. Dearden's been pushed to number 7. DCE's fighting for that spot, the current Queensland captain. Who have you got?
Yeah, that's a tough one, hey, right? Because it's like the veteran versus the young gun, and very exciting game. I personally like. I do like. Oh, it's so tough. I do like Dearden with his, quick wit, his speed. Probably a little bit fitter than Cherry Evans. On the flip side, though, Cherry Evans does have that. He's general. Like he's got so much experience. So like for Queensland, like that game knowledge, that game control, a bit like Benny Hunt. So yeah, that'll be an epic one. It'll be interesting to see who performs better.
100%. And I think obviously Dearden's played 5'8" for a very long time now. And now he's going to be doing that Jerome Luai switch from 5'8" to halfback. It's going to be very interesting if he can control the team and not just be that attacking dynamo. He now actually needs to steer the ship. It's going to be interesting with young Jackson Purdue, but we'll get in with that with the future rundown of the game. So, next article, we got Jerome Luai's dad banned from Instagram after a controversial post. Gazzy, before we get into it, have you seen this?
No, I haven't. His dad got banned. That's funny. Yeah.
Could be clickbait.
What did he do?
Listen up on this one, Gazzy. So, controversial post. Martin Luai, father of NRL star Jerome Luai, posted a controversial message on Instagram following the West Tigers 64-0 loss to the Melbourne Storm. The post read, quoted, "Get out clause activated," end quote, accompanied by an eyes emoji and a face palm. So currently there's a contract clause in Jerome Luai's contract. So the phase referenced a player option clause in Jerome Luai's $6 million contract with the Tigers, allowing him to test the open market at the end of 2026 season. Obviously, there was immediate backlash, so the post was quickly deleted, but not before it sparked a significant reaction from fans, media outlets, and Luai's management. And typically, as there would be, there'd be family banter. So Martin Luai claimed the post was meant as banter between family and friends and not intended to be taken seriously. And now, as all good partners do, the wife intervened. Following the uproar, Martin's wife banned him from using Instagram, leading to a cheeky follow-up post where he apologized and mentioned the ban. So some of the quotes that were from the story. So Martin Luai quoted, "A bit of banter between family and friends and somehow got into the hands of the media, who screenshot it and sent it to Romy's management." Jerome Luai quoted, "I've got a point to prove here, not to anyone else, but to myself." And Benji Marshall, the head coach, quoted, "We built standards we want to live by, and today we didn't live by any of them." And that's obviously referring to the 64-0 loss to the West Tigers. What's your thoughts on the controversial post, Gaz?
Oh, I think it's funny from his dad. Like you can see that family banter. It's like a bit of fun, tongue in cheek stuff. It is like I guess the way that I'm imagining is that after the game, after a 64-0 like thrashing from the Storm, you would feel kind of like down in the dumps, and it is a bit of an impact on the team morale. So that's probably where the bit of the tongue in cheek is, just having a bit of fun. It is though, like I guess for the NRL players, they are in social media. They are like higher profile, and they do have a bit of a social media following. So I guess word can get out, and when that happens, the media love to put a spin on everything. So it seems like that's what they've done this time around.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. Like, again, it's actually pretty funny when you really think about it. And if Jerome Luai posted that, you can imagine the uproar that would have happened. But it's just his dad. Like, your dad be almost like embarrassed, like, shit, Ryan, you've lost 64-0 to a team that arguably shouldn't beat you by that much. Like, what's happening? Just get out of there, as he said, tongue in cheek. I think the fans are a bit on the
Yeah.
fence, like yourself and I, Gaz. Some think it's funny, some think it's over the top. But yeah, I think it's a bit over the top, to be honest. Anyway, Mick Ennis, so Michael Ennis, advocates for NRL transfer window solution. So the current system issue. So Mick Ennis highlighted the widespread agreement that the NRL current transfer system is broken. So currently, NRL players are allowed to sign with rival clubs once they enter the final year of their contracts, starting on November 1st. And obviously, there's going to be frustration among you guys and us, Gaz. This system allows players to sign with a new team up to 16 months before the actual play for them, leaving fans frustrated as they support players who've already committed to leaving. Again, i.e., Cherry Evans and Galvin. So Mick Ennis is proposing the AFL model. So Ennis suggested that the NRL should adopt a transfer window similar to the AFL. In the AFL, there is a designated 2-week trade period in October where clubs can sign players, but only if all parties agree on the deal. But there's also player rights. So in the AFL system, a contracted player cannot be forced to change clubs and has the right to veto a deal. However, in practice, players often leave when a club publicly declares they're open to trading them. So some quotes here. Mick Ennis, nobody in rugby league can agree the exact fix, but almost everybody agrees the NRL transfer system is broken. It's time to follow in the footsteps of the AFL. NRL CEO Andrew Abdo quoted, "Fixing the NRL transfer system is far from straightforward due to a range of legal, structural, and governance challenges." Gaz, controversial here, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so that's really interesting. I've learned something new tonight. It seems like the AFL model is a lot more fair because, like, at least there's a designated window where all trades must be done.
Mm.
So it's like there won't be all this all this stuff going on about players leaving um, from the start of the season. So I do like that model. Like it does seem more like proactive than the NRL model. So hopefully we can get that across. Like, yeah, it'd be a lot more fair for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think it's just common sense, eh? Like, you can obviously see what the NRL's logic was. Like, you're giving family the maximum amount of time to get settled in potentially a new place. You're giving teams the maximum amount of time to recruit someone new. But it's a bit of a farce when you think about it. Like, 16 months is absolutely ridiculous. Like, the AFL is very similar to the NBA. The NBA have a free agency period, which is a similar sort of time frame. Um, it makes sense. And when you think about it, it's kind of really exciting because you can have it in the off season when there's no footy happening and there's just more content for the crowd and stuff we can talk about too, Gazzy. Um, yeah, I think it just makes way more sense. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it just make it yeah, more fair. Hopefully they can get to something like that. It seems like they might be blocked by a fair few things, with the government governance and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Seems like a lot of red tape.
yeah. As is everything in life these days. Um, Next article, Gazzy, we got the women's test wipe from NRL's 2026 Las Vegas schedule. So this is really new. So the schedule reduction. So the NRL has confirmed that the women's international game has been removed from the 2026 Las Vegas opening schedule. Originally, the slate included 4 games and has now been reduced to 3, which I've just seen today. The teams are confirmed. So the teams set to play in Las Vegas are the Canterbury Bulldogs, the St. George Illawarra Dragons, the North Queensland Cowboys, and the Newcastle Knights. These teams will face at Allegiant Stadium, the same place they've played at for the past couple of years. So the reason for removal, the decision to drop the women's game comes after the Gillaroos dominated 90-4 the win over England, which raised questions about the competitiveness of the match. Obviously, future considerations could happen. There are discussions about reintroducing the women's game in future Las Vegas events, with the New South Wales Women's State of Origin coach John Strange advocating for its importance. So, some quotes here. The NRL stated the league's reduction from 4 games to 3 has seen the women's international game dropped from the schedule, which has been flagged after the Gillaroos' 90-4 win over England this year. John Strange also quoted, "It's really important that there is a women's match at the NRL's annual Rugby League spectacle in Las Vegas. The NRL must rethink what that looks like after the Gillaroos' dominant performance." Now, Gaz, my perspective, currently the Gillaroos, as we just said, the 90-4 win over England, it's just embarrassing. Like, you don't want a team going over. Like, if you're an American, you're watching this and you know limited stuff about rugby league and you're seeing a team absolutely get demolished in the international level. There's no competitiveness there. I'd love to see the women's get a go, obviously, but maybe have like the Origin series around there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Um, I think Origin around at like before the season starts, that'd be all right. That'd be pretty sweet. But then also the Origin's already before the start of the girls' season, so yeah, it wouldn't even be a bad idea, hey?
Mm.
Because Origin 2 for the girls is on tonight, like as
Right
we're
now.
kind of speaking. But yeah, not a bad idea. I do like that because then that'll be exciting for at least one game in um, the US. But then it seems like, so are there three teams that are still going from the
You
NRL,
got you
like
got
W
3
for the
games. So you
women's?
got two. So you got 2 NRL games, and you got 1 team from Super League. So 2 teams from Super League coming. So 3 games total.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. No, that's fair. Like I can see why they've done that because Australia just absolutely demolished England. Um, yeah, it is as a spectator in overseas. Like it is like wow, like that was a thrashing. Like it's not as entertaining. You want
Yeah,
something a bit closer.
yeah. And I think also I know for a fact that Allegiant Stadium doesn't do pass outs. So imagine you're in that stadium for 4 NRL games. That's like what 9-10 hours probably. Like that's crazy amount of time to be in a stadium. So I
Yeah.
can obviously see them trying to reduce that. Have a 2-day event. Like why can't you have the Super League and the women's game on one day, and then the 2 NRL games on day 2? Like that makes more sense to me.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be epic.
yeah, it'd be sick. Like, and then you can make a bit more of a spectacle. I think obviously more people would probably stay in Vegas for longer. We'll see. What are your thoughts on potentially not being in Vegas though, guys? Would you look at a different state?
I think, where would you go? Vegas is such like an entertainment capital because I'm on Facebook and I see all these like I think they announced the men's team as well, which I'm sure you'll cover later. But I saw a Titans fan. He's like, he was hoping that the Titans would get in next year, but there might be the following year, and he was like, oh well, at least we get another year to save. But like people, people are really like looking forward to the Vegas,
Mm,
and it would be fun, like I'm imagining like a boys trip. It's like the
100%.
hangover, couple of beers, waking up on top of a roof. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Vegas does seem like a really cool spot to have the games.
Yeah. Maybe even having like 3 NRL games. So you can do like 5 games total over 2 days. You can have your Super League and a women's game and 1 NRL game, and then you have 2 on the next day potentially. That's an option.
Yeah,
I think once we cycle through all 17 teams, and it'll be inevitably 18, maybe 19 by the time that happens, or will be 19 teams by the time that happens. Um, Maybe then we look somewhere else. I've heard speculation and chat about Hawaii. So logistically, oh, that's going to be closer. I can imagine going on a Hawaii trip. That'd be pretty nice as well. But again, that's a 2034, 2036 problem for us. So we can talk about that when we're popping off on Tackles and Tinnies, guys.
that's epic. That would be really cool, Hawaii. I'll see you there, Rye.
Mate, it's a business expense. What do you mean? We're doing work. All right, Gazzy. So we got our Origin team. So what I want to do today, obviously we got the Origin teams getting selected this Sunday. So I thought it'd be a cool idea if we could go through some of the contenders for each position for both states, and then we can pick our team each, and then we can decide on a final team. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's go
All right.
through it.
So, Gazzy, I'm going to go read out the Queensland team first, and I'll read out the contenders that I think who could potentially be there. Obviously, there might be some injuries involved, but these are the guys who I think would be best fit for the position. So, obviously,
Mhm.
Reece Walsh is currently injured, but if he was healthy in Origin 2, he will be. He's definitely a contender. You got Hammer, who's definitely a contender. Kalen Ponga are my 3 fullbacks to Queensland. My wingers, I've got Xavier Coates, Murray Talangi, and Cobbo. I think that's pretty much straightforward. Potential Smokey on Savage, maybe. Centers, I got Val Holmes, Hammer, Robert Toyer as another Smoky, and you can also even chuck Cobbo in the centers as well. In the halves, I've got Cam Munster, I've got Tommy Dearden, Daly Cherry Evans, Ezra Mann potentially game 2, game 3. You could even put a Ben Hunt in there. Jamal Fogarty's a Queenslander. You could even chuck him in there.
Mm.
That's the halves. The hookers, you got Harry Grant, Ben Hunt, and you've also got Reed Marnie. He's a Queenslander, so very different types of players, but also very good in terms of the Queensland spirit. Our forwards, we got Lindsay Collins, we got Tino, Paddy Carrigan, Dave Fafita when he's healthy, so probably game 2 or 3. Jai Arrow, Jaden Sewer, Kurt Mann, who's getting a lot of talk in recent times, and Bowie Fermor. But you also got Tommy Gilbert coming back from his ACL this year as well. Yeah, there's definitely some good hitters there, and obviously Ruben Cotter I've missed out on. So Gaz, my Queensland team, I've currently got at fullback Ponga. Oh, I've obviously missed out on one of the biggest guys too, Xavier Coates. So Xavier Coates is a lock for me. So Ponga and Coates are my fullback and wing. My center is Val Holmes. My other center is the Hammer. And on my wing, I've left out Cobbo, and I've actually put in Murray Talangi. I think his form's been absolutely scintillating in the past couple of weeks, and he's led the Cowboys to a few solid wins. I've gone Cam Munster. He's a set and forget. He's probably looked like the best form in the past 3 years. Finally healthy, which is great. I've got DCE as well in there. Obviously, we just talked about the potential Dearden swap, but I think DCE is still our guy. He's our captain. Cotter, I've got him starting at front row along with Tino. So they're my 2 big boppers in the middle. And then I've got Harry Grant. So he's going to have to prove his fitness, obviously, this weekend. But yeah, I got Harry Grant in there. On the second row, I've got a debutant. I've got Bo Fermor. I think he's been absolutely dynamic for the Gold Coast Titans. And I thought Jaden Seward did a very good job last year, and he's very explosive. I think we need to match that explosiveness in the second row. So they're my second rows. And then to round out the pack at lock, I've got Paddy Carrigan. He's been there. He's done it before. Can obviously play in the middle at the front row, but I kind of like his linking with the other two boys there. So off the bench. So this is where it's a bit controversial. I think I got Kurt Mann there because he can play in the middle and he can obviously play dummy half, which he's done plenty of times in the past. So I think Kurt Mann provides that relief for Harry Grant, which also provides a bit more versatility here. So which allows me to also get Tommy Gilbert. He can play middle or second row. And then I've got big Corey Horsburgh. So I think he's made a triumphant return. Billy Slater loves Big Red. And then my utility. So I didn't go Tommy Dearden. I've actually gone Selwyn Cobbo. So my logic is if a half goes down, we can chuck Ponga into the halves. He can play 5'8" halfback. Essentially does it right now for the Newcastle Knights. We can chuck Cobbo in the back line somewhere. Doesn't matter. He can play all three positions. And I'd probably put Hammer straight back to fullback. So Hammer to fullback, probably Cobbo goes in the centres, and Ponga jumps into the halves. What are your thoughts on my team, Gaz?
Yeah, I like that, Rye. It's very versatile. Like you can move players around, exactly what you said. Like if players get injured. I do like the Tino for more combo in the forward pack. They'll gel, like they know each other's game too.
Yep.
So a lot of the great combinations too, like with your Munster DCE, they've played a fair bit together. Yeah, do love it. It's great.
And my captain's obviously going to be Cherry Evans. I just think having an outside, like an out and out outside back on the bench, it's just been proven over the past couple of series that if someone goes down in the backs, it's pretty much game over. Yes, Beau Fermor can go to the centres. He's done it plenty of times for the Gold Coast Titans. But you also have the luxury. Cobbo's such a big dude that if none of the outside backs go down, I'd feel more than comfortable chucking Cobbo in the middle and just say, hey, mate, you got 15, 20 minutes, just blow yourself out. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Gaz, I'd love to hear your team. I'm more than happy to write this down as you're going.
Yeah.
So,
For my
fullback.
team, very, very similar with what you've got to, but we'll quick fire it. But for Origin 1, I'm going at fullback Kalen Ponga. Xavier Coates, my number 2,
Yep.
one wing. Number 3, Valentine Holmes at one
Yep.
centre. Hammer, the other centre.
Yep.
Tolagi at the other wing.
Yep. So nothing's
Number 6,
changed
Cameron
here.
Munster.
Yep.
Number 7, Cherry Evans.
Don't want Dearden?
Number 8. Yeah, I think Dearden for me is down probably bench, like
Okay.
interchange.
So go prop first.
And coming on. Yeah. Number 1 prop, like number 8, Tino
Yep.
for me. 9, Harry Grant, if he's all right.
Yep.
Hopefully. Should be all right by then. Number 10, Fotueka.
Big Moe.
Titans. Yeah, Moe. He's been great. And I feel like 8 and 10, the 2 props from the Titans too, like they'll be good. They'll know each other's games. They'll
Yep.
hit it up, and then yeah. 11 Sua, I reckon.
Yep.
12 Cotter. Get him there.
Yep.
Number 13 Patrick.
Yep.
Mr.
Carrigan.
Carrigan.
Yep.
At 14, this is a hard one. It's like Reed Mahoney or Tommy Dearden. Like either or. Probably more Tommy Dearden for me because he can slot in, in the halves.
Yep.
And then both for more 15, 16 Tommy Gilbert, and then 17 Nanai for the Cowboys.
Yep. Okay. So you've got Ponga at fullback, Coates and Talangi on the wings. You got Val Holmes and Hammer in the centres. You got Munster at 5'8", DC at halfback. Your front row, you got Tino and Big Mo Fotueka. Then you got Harry Grant at hooker. In your second row, you got Sewer and Cotter. At lock, you got Carrigan. And then your utility is Dearden
Yeah.
at 14. And then your forwards off the bench are Fermor, Gilbert, Nanai. So, Gaz, I agree with you, mate. And
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who I don't include. But I think Nanai is a must. And what I'm going to do, Sewer is gone. Nanai is in.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think, that's definitely one I missed. Nanai's an absolute gun. In the past couple of weeks, he's been absolutely carrying that forward pack, especially with Tomalolo being hampered. Yeah, he's been absolute gun. I picked him up like $500,000 on Supercoach, and now he's gone ballistic, almost up to 700,000. So great trade.
Nice.
um,
Very good.
yeah. So I think we got some guys to debate off the bench. So Tommy Dearden over Cobbo. Give me your best rebuttal.
Tommy Dearden over Cobbo, yeah. Well, it's hard to predict these things. Hey, it's like if someone goes down, um, shuffling plays around. Um, Tommy Dearden, I think he can play out wide-ish, maybe. Really, like slots in anywhere in the halves or hooker. Yeah, it might mean a bit of a strange shuffle. I think historically, and I'll have to look back, but from memory, it's like the halves are generally okay. Like they don't really get injured.
Mm.
So fingers crossed that none of the halves get injured. Fullback stays healthy. Um, and interchange is only there, for impact, like 10, 15 minutes, get Tommy Dearden on. The forwards are tired, so then Dearden, like a Benny Hunt, injects themselves, and then hopefully something good happens from that.
Yeah. And Queensland for many years have always gone like a utility half off the bench. You can reflect back to Cooper Cronk. You can look at Daly Cherry Evans. And then you can look at Ben Hunt in more recent years. And Tommy Dearden could be that next guy until DC essentially wraps up and retires. So, yeah, it's not a bad shout, sort of putting him into that arena. And obviously last year for Queensland, he was arguably one of Queensland's best, Tommy Dearden. So it's so tough. Who would your 18th man be then? Would you probably want an outside back as your 18th man?
Um, See, that's so tough. Probably not. I'm so on the fence, but like I know New South Wales one time had who'd they have? They had the hooker. What's his name? South Sydney. Well, we played for South Sydney then.
Oh,
Cookie,
Damien Cook?
Cookie on in the centers. Yeah, and that wasn't great because Queensland with their like specialist centers like just ran rings around Cookie, but um, yeah, yeah. I'm still for me still going more the dynamic kind of Tommy Dearden at 14.
Yeah. And
And
I'd
then
feel
and then the
very,
rest is kind of like Woods.
I'd feel very confident in Tom Dearden doing a job. That's for sure. He has so much heart. I just get worried that he's a little bit redundant if a half doesn't go down. Can he play hooker? I don't know. Maybe in his early Broncos days, he's played a little bit of hooker. It'd be interesting to see. I'd even be, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a toss up for me. You can't really go wrong with either one. But maybe viewers, you could give us your thoughts. Who do you think, Tommy Dearden or Cobbo off the bench? Okay, Dearden or Tommy Dearden off the bench. Okay, Gaz, New South Wales. So currently, our contenders at fullback, we've got Dylan Edwards, James Tedesco, and Ryan Pappenhausen. You could also throw in Tommy Turbo, Latrell Mitchell, but I'd have them in other positions personally. On the wing, we got potentially Brian To'o, Zach Lomax, Jacob Carraz. You could put Tom Turbo there. You put Stephen Crichton there. Plenty of guys there. In the centres, you got Critter, obviously, Tommy Turbo, Latrell Mitchell. You could even put Zach Lomax there. Yeah, plenty of contenders and a lot of depth. In the halves, you got Cleary, Moses, Luai, Nico Hines. Hooker, you got Reece Robson, Connor Watson, and if you really need to, you can go to Damien Cook. Appy Coruscant is another name we could throw out there. In the forwards, we've got Big Payne Haas, definitely picks himself. Isaiah Yeo, Angus Crichton, Liam Martin, Hamoli Olakawatu, Spencer Linu, Mitch Barnett, their former captain Jake Trebojevic. You got Terrell May, you got Hudson Young. Like, there's so many blokes that we could be picking from. And my New South Wales team, I've gone for a smoky. I've gone Ryan Pappenhausen.
No.
Yes, I froth him, and
Ooh.
I know there's a little bit of bias there, but he's arguably the most informed fullback. And going off last week's form with the Melbourne Storm win, he got 4 tries, 10 goals, so he's another converter, which is useful. He's got that offensive spark that Dylan Edwards doesn't necessarily have. Dylan Edwards arguably a better defender and a little bit bigger body, but their work rate's very similar. Yes, Pappenhausen's definitely a Ferrari, but he's definitely not lazy, like some other fullbacks we could talk about. But yeah, I got Pappy. Then I got Brian Toto and Tom Trebojevic on the wing. Okay, I got Tommy Turbo on the wing. Great ball runner, good under the high ball, which means I have left out Zach Lomax just to fit in my centres. So at centre, I got Stephen Crichton. He's been absolutely unreal. I think he picks himself. And I've also got Latrell Mitchell. So potentially you could have Brian Toto, Stephen Crichton reuniting, former Panthers combination. And then imagine on the other side, Latrell Mitchell and Tommy Turbo. If that doesn't make you shit your pants, I don't know what would. In the halves,
I'm scared.
I'm opting for Mitchell Moses over Jerome Luai, and I've also got Nathan Cleary, making Cleary my captain as well. Got Payne Haas at front row along with Terrell May. I'm hearing murmurs around the grounds that Terrell May is not going to be picked, which I think is absolutely insane. You've got 2 versions of Terrell May. You got Sydney Roosters Terrell May, who played 25 to 30 minutes off the bench and was absolutely explosive, gun-ho. And then you got this year's Terrell May, who literally plays 75 minutes non-stop. Either or, he's going to do a job. Work ethic's good, so if someone goes down, he can pick up the slack along with Payne Haas. I think he's second in offloads or first in offloads, so he's really up there, can provide that second phase player. So I think Terrell May is a must along with Payne Haas. You got to have an arsehole on your team, and Liam Martin's that arsehole that you need. Every single time he plays for New South Wales, he's just so good. Now, the other second role was really hard. You've obviously got your incumbent in Angus Crichton. We could also talk about big fella Hamoli Olakawatu, but I've actually opted for the inform Raider, Hudson Young. I think he's been absolutely gun-ho. Very, very good. And then I've opted for lock. I got Isaiah Yeo. Then my utility, I've got Connor Watson, self-explanatory there. And then I've opted to swap in off the bench Angus Crichton. Okay, I think Angus Crichton can play on an edge or in the middle. And then I've got Big Spencer Linu for that impact, again, 15 to 25 minutes a game. And then I've also got Big Mitchy Barnett. Again, huge, can play in the middle, can play on an edge. So you've got a lot of versatility off the bench. And then my 18th man, I've got Jerome Luai. He's just that spiritual leader. He can be on the bench, hyping all the boys up. He's the kind of guy that you want in your team, or at least in camp. Now, Gaz, who have you got, mate?
Yes, I do love your list, Rye, especially with Puppy at number 1. How good. Let's go, Puppy. To my team, I think Origin 1, they will be going like number 1. I reckon Tommy Turbo might get the call up.
Turbo. Wow.
At 2 winger. Yeah, even with his hammies. He's tried and tested. So Tommy Turbo, and he's not out of form. I wouldn't say he's in form, but I reckon he'll get the job done.
Yep.
Brian Toto, if he's still all
Yep.
right, and he didn't do too bad for the Panthers last weekend. Bradman Best at 3.
Best
Um,
smoke
and then
show.
yeah, yeah. Number 4, Crido, Bulldogs. He's legendary. He's a great player, so very hard to stop. One of the wings, we're talking about Zach Lomax returning from injury. Actually, I think he fractured his foot, so he'll be a race against the clock. But
He's
if
named.
he's good, Lomax,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, he might be. So he will be good. So yeah, it'll be good to see. Well, hopefully he stays injury free. Number 6, Mitchell Moses. He's been pretty good for the Eels. Nathan Cleary at 7. Mitch Barnett at number 8.
Yep.
Reece Robson at number 9.
Yep.
For me, Payne Haas, I think that's a no-brainer for Payne Haas. He's been
Yep.
killing it. Liam Martin, same as you, Rye. He's got the dog in him.
Got that dog.
And then Angus Crichton at 12. He's got that dog. Number 13, Isaiah Yeo for
Yep.
me. And then in the interchange, Hudson Young. Good shout with that one. I do like Hudson Young. He's been killing it for the Raiders, and he's just such a workhorse. So,
Yep.
so then we've got Ola Kawatu, Spencer Lenu at 15, 16. And then I don't know who at 17. Maybe Watson.
Yep.
Connor Watson, so he can, slot in
Utility.
at hooker if need be, or like utility. Yeah.
Solid team, mate. Solid team, mate. The fullbacks,
on paper.
mate.
Yeah.
There's just so many talking points here. You got Tommy Turbo at fullback. I don't think he's ever played fullback for New South Wales. He's always played at centre. I could be corrected here, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And it was a good shout, like saying that he is potentially a bit underdone, but he was also a bit underdone playing for Australia. And then look how good he was. He should have been the bloody Golden Boot winner off that series. But Bradman Best, Gaz, what are your thoughts around that?
He's a big boy. He's a weapon. Like I'd
He's a
hate
big
to
boy.
run against him. Like if Bradman Best, all right, let's compare Bradman Best what's he at 3? So one, he'd be up against number 4. He'd be up against like let's say a Hammer, like big size difference, and Hammer can tackle, but like on their day, if they're going head to head, like it'd be a pretty good battle because one's got speed, the other's got strength. It'd be interesting.
Mate, Zachy Lomax also, it was a big toss-up for me. Like, Lomax is definitely next in line. For me, like, wing or centre. Like, he's just so, so good. Yes, I don't hate that shout. But I think Morgan's going to be a little bit annoyed at you, Gazzy, because you've got no Latrell Mitchell.
Morgs, if you're listening, apologies, but not this year. Nah, yeah, he is great. I mean, it's going to come down to it will come down to like form and everything, and like I'd hate to be the coach having to choose the teams because it is a tough one.
I mean, like, what a
Who
headache
is the coach
nightmare to
this
have.
year, I for
Laurie Daly.
yeah,
But, like,
Laurie Daly.
crazy to
Yeah,
think
okay.
about, like, New South Wales has, like, 8 guys, and they'd almost be walk-up starts for, like, 2 of our positions.
Mm,
Like, Pappenhausen,
like
Tedesco, and Dylan Edwards arguably be picked over Ponga currently at fullback.
mm.
And,
What are
like,
your
you got...
thoughts, right? Because we're well and truly just Queensland through and through, right? But on paper, what do you reckon? Like, I feel like New South Wales have a very strong team,
Yeah.
and on paper, it's like wow. It's going to be
Yeah,
tough.
on paper, like thank God we have Tino back. That's all I can say. We're very similar to last year. Obviously, we
Yeah.
got Cam Munster back, which is a huge inclusion. So I'd definitely put Munster over Moses. Well, let's do this as a test. Let's go through both teams and we'll see who's better in each position. So, Gaz, we'll go through your team first. Ponga versus Turbo, who's better?
Mm. Ponga versus Turbo. Sheesh. I'm gonna give a point to Ponga.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna say Turbo. So, Coates versus Toto.
Coates versus Toto. Ooh, I'm gonna go Coates just because he's more like better in the air.
Yeah, that aerial threat's huge, but that meter readage is definitely something to strive towards. I'm actually going to say Toto. He's tried and tested, mate. He's when healthy. Obviously, there's a bit of a if healthy. Toto is just undefeated, and he's won 4 championships. You got to put respect onto that name.
Hmm.
Okay, Val Holmes versus Bradman Best.
Oh, sheesh. So the Queenslander in me wants to say Val Holmes, but up against Bradman Best, I'd have to go Best over Val Holmes.
Wow. So yeah, okay, fair
As
call.
much as I love him.
Yeah, I think Val's a little bit more versatile, but I think Bradman Best defense is a little bit better. So yeah, it's definitely a toss of the coin. Val Holmes on his day though, I think he's got him. Hammer versus Critter. This is a tough one.
Mm. Oh, very tough. Because Hammer, he's just on his day. He can glide. He's like runs, he like glides through. And yeah, for me, I'm gonna go. Oh, that is such a tough one, right? I'm
I'm
going
trying to think,
Hammer.
mate.
Back
Yeah,
Hammer.
I think Hammer by like a freckle, mate. It's nothing. Like Critter's arguably the best center in the game, and obviously he brings all that other intangible stuff that can't be taught. But yeah, Hammer's that speed, mate. You can't teach speed, and it only takes a little whisker for him to get through and then bang, try time. So only for that reason, it's Hammer. Talangi versus Lomax.
Yeah. Ooh, another tough one. Um, I'm gonna say, oh, gee, Tulagi. Yeah,
Over
Murray for
Lomax.
me.
Wow. Okay. I'm the opposite. I reckon
Yeah,
Lomax has got that one. Why do you think Talangi goes?
he's a big boy.
Mm.
Like he's hard to stop. Like he can make a couple of hit ups as well, help out the forwards. Um, it really depends on the halves too. I think if Munster and Cherry Evans for Queensland, if they can really get some good ball going, um, to the centres or get the ball to the centres, and it's a good clean ball. Um, the centres would be very hard to stop. Those backline plays, hopefully they, get that sorted out. A hard one because, yeah, Lomax is also very good. He's really good in the air. He always competes.
Mm.
He always gets up there on the fifth tackle and chases the kick quite hard. So, yeah, tough one, that one.
Yeah, definitely a toss of the coin. But with Valentine Holmes and Talangi's combination from last year at the Cowboys, not a bad shout. Talangi's a unreal finisher, and Talangi every time he's played for Queensland, he made like 2 or 3 try saving efforts last season he was in. So the Talangi Lomax is
Mm.
closer than a lot of people would think, but I think the pedigree of Lomax, I think he proved it last year. He's probably a top 3 winger, and I'd probably put Talangi like a top 5. So just for that reason, I'd say Lomax. But yeah, toss the coin, mate. I totally agree. Munster versus Moses.
Mm. Oof. Both great running backs, 5'8". I'm gonna go Munster for this one. I'm very biased, but Munster for me.
Yeah,
The way he plays for the Storm, the way he can control the game, yeah, it's Munster.
yeah. I think Munster for sure. Like Moses is not a 5'8", or not in most recent years. Pardon me. Um, yeah, Munster's, as we said earlier, he's looked the healthiest he has in about 5 years. He's jumping around like a little jackrabbit. So, yeah, I think Munster's raring to go, and I think he's really keen to get back in that Origin arena after missing it last season. So, yeah, I agree with you, Gazzy, Munster for sure. All right, DC versus Cleary. Do we even need to talk about it?
Nope. I think we all know, right?
Yeah.
I hate to say
Cleary.
it, but yeah,
Yeah.
Cleary. Clearly Cleary.
Yeah. Cleary, Cleary. um, front row, Gazzy. So we'll go Tino versus Payne Haas just for shits and gigs.
Oh wow, that is that. Oh, that makes my brain hurt. Because both of them, they're such weapons. You know, enforcers for both teams, enforcers for the Titans, enforcer for the Broncos. Oh, I can't. It's our captain, Fa'asu Malawi. Love to say his last name. That's Tino, definitely for me. It's a very close one because Payne, Haas, he's like amazing, right? He makes so many meters each week. He's got a good offload, but yeah, I got to back our boy Tino.
Yeah, bit of bias there, mate. It is literally a flip of the coin, and Tino's only getting better every single week. We're watching him play. Listeners, I reckon we have to leave that up to you. We'll leave it in a short video, but far out. Tino versus Payne Haas at Origin level. Who have you got? We want to hear from you guys. I can't decide. It's 1A and 1B for me. um, okay, we'll go the other front row. Uh, we'll go Cotter slash Big Mo Fodawaker versus Barnett. Who you got?
Um, I'm gonna go. Oh, Barnett. I'm gonna go Fodawaker because he's such a like a versatile prop. Like he's more of like a fast prop. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Fodawaker, and I'm also biased with the Titans.
uh, the double bias Queensland Titans combination is unrivaled. I thought Mitch Barnett had a fantastic series last year. As we said earlier, he can play middle or edge, big minute forward, similar to Big Mo Fodawaker. Yeah, mate. Going through this comparison, I think on paper, yeah, the big names in New South Wales, but when you really go 1-to-1, we're not too far off. I think the next coming position is where the differentiation is going to be. But yeah, I think it's a toss of the coin as well. Barnett versus Mo Fodawaker or Cotter, they're very, very, very similar. Now, this is where
Mm.
I think New South Wales had an advantage, guys, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But Liam Martin versus Sewer.
Yeah, I think Liam Martin is just at Origin. He's next level. Like he's just super saiyan. So yeah, he's you mentioned before he's got that dog in him.
Yeah,
He's gonna do well, and he
yeah.
always does at Origin level.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Liam Martin, he's unrivaled at Origin level. He's just an absolute arsehole, and you need that in your team. Um, we'll go Cotter slash Fermor slash Gilbert. So one of those edges versus Angus Crichton slash Hudson Young slash Olakawatu. Who's your advantage there?
See, it gets down to the nitty gritty, doesn't it? Because the interchange it plays such a big role.
Mm.
Um, they, I think from memory, last year New South Wales played them really well because they were just the forward pack was just all over us, the Queenslanders. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Who was it? Who was the Queenslander again?
So you either got Cotter, a Fermor, Gilbert, Nanai. That's just probably your second rowers that you can choose from. Versus the
Yeah,
second rowers of Gus Crichton, Hudson Young, Olakawatu.
I think New South Wales with like Olakau'atu, Hudson Young.
Wow, and Angus Crichton, mate. Like that's insane. Like they'd
That
probably
is
all three of them would be starting for Queensland.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, that is stacked." Because it's like
Yeah,
they can be start they could start if they wanted to, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, that is very impact, and when they come on, yeah, they're gonna tear up.
yeah. And you could easily play 15, 20 minutes in the middle. Like all three of them could do that. So Yeah, that's where I think the differentiation between the teams are. And then we'll go the utility Dearden versus Watson. Who you got?
I think Connor Watson is a great player, but for me, Tommy Dearden at like more versatile kicking game, can pass. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Dearden and has spirit too. Like he's got that Queenslander in him.
Yeah.
Like
I think as a utility, not as a player, I'd pick Connor Watson. I think Connor Watson can play in more positions and has proven to do so. Where Dearden, yes, he might be the better player, arguably, especially in the halves. I think Watson, he can be definitely proven to play at lock. He's played at centre. He's played halfback back at the Knights back in the day. He's also played at 5'8" at the Knights back in the day. Currently plays at hooker. Could easily be starting at number 9 personally for New South Wales. So I think Watson, due to his versatility overall, not in terms of as a player, makes him the best utility. But Gaz, going off that comparison, regardless, obviously some players will be substituted in and out when we get the real teams this weekend. It's really not too far apart. I think the biggest difference will be at second row. Is that a fair shout?
mm, yeah, at second row. Yeah, for sure. I think at second row, but even in the forwards, because like in the game of footy, it's like if the forwards, if they can battle it out, if they can try and make as many meters, get good field position, then they make it a lot easier for their backs to set up to score the tries. So yeah, it's going to be very very interesting, and I'm fired up, right? Like after all this chat, I just want Origin to be like tomorrow.
100%.
It'll be Wednesday already, please.
I'm definitely so Tackles and Teens listeners. I'm actually going to game one, absolutely frothing at the mouth to go watch these two teams play out. So, guys, I think when we get the teams on the weekend, let's reassess next week and let's redo this conversation. I reckon, and we'll just get a
Yeah,
little point system going. But it's just
yeah.
definitely food for thought for sure, and I think it's definitely closer than people think.
Mm.
So, Gaz, Cap or Fact is back. So, the round 10 prediction results. So, ChatGPT actually predicted 5 out of 8 games. Well done, ChatGPT, on fire as of late. Um, but first game, Gazzy. So, we'll go 1 for 1 here. I'll do the first one. So, round 10 game review, we've got Eels versus Dolphins. So, the Dolphins defeated the Eels 20-16 at CommBank. So, the match highlights, we've got the Dolphins secured a tight victory from the 12-6 deficit with 20 minutes to play. Isaiah Katoa was instrumental for the Dolphins with 568 kick meters, 30 tackles, and 104 run meters. Hammer had a standout performance with 219 run meters and 7 tackle breaks. Herbie Farnworth also shown running for 195 meters and making a crucial try-saving tackle. Adokar was a key player for the Eels, who ran for 20 runs and 207 meters and 9 tackle breaks. And the Eels missed several opportunities, including a drop ball by Dylan Walker in the final minutes. Some key quotes from the game or post-match. Journalist Martin Laneham quoted the Dolphins completed 35 out of 39 sets and controlled the game through Isaiah Katoa's kicking game and their committed defense. Dolphins head coach Christian Wolf quoted, "We dug deep and showed great resilience to come back from secure the win. Our defense was outstanding and the boys executed the game plan perfectly." Eels coach Jason Roll quoted, "We had our chances but couldn't capitalize. It's frustrating, but we need to regroup and focus on the next game." Isaiah Katoa from the Dolphins quoted, "It was a tough game, but we stuck to our plan and it paid off. The boys worked hard and it's great to get the win." And Josh Adokar from the Parramatta Eels quoted, "We found it hard, but it just wasn't our night. We need to learn from this and come back stronger." Gazzy, fins up, baby. What are your thoughts?
Fins up, yeah. That was a great game. Very close too, but yeah, Hammer. What a highlight! Like what a performance too. So a lot of run meters. Yeah, he's back. I think he's ready. He's pumped for Origin.
Yeah.
Get him on.
Yeah, the double fins up. He's got his little totem that he does, which is pretty sick. Man, Isaiah Katoa. Shame he's not a Queenslander. He's also an Origin smoker. We probably missed out on. Probably a couple of years away. But yeah, man, Katoa, what a buy for the Dolphins. He's their marquee player um, that they didn't have, but actually did get him. So
Yeah.
yeah, what are your thoughts on the Finns, guys? Are they going to make the top 8 this year, you reckon, or
I think they're going to be close. They're going to be sitting around like that 8, 9. Yeah, there's always that like 3 or 4 teams that are just outside top 8,
yeah,
and they're like fighting the last couple of weeks to get into the top 8. And I think the Dolphins are going to be one of those teams. Um, look, Queensland team. I hope they get in. At least one of the Queensland teams, like Broncos. Well, like the Dolphins, one of them surely.
yeah. Hopefully Titans, mate. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, out the
uh,
Titans. Go on.
I think the best thing too is like Josh Adokar finally found some good form. Like obviously he's been a bit injury riddled all last year, but it's fantastic to see the Fox back at full stride, and he's such a character of the game, and we love to see that. And it's only going to be good for the rebuilding culture. But yes, the Parramatta Eels lost, but Mitchell Moses makes such a difference to this team. Yes, he didn't have a gangbuster game, getting an A+ performance, but he just provides that confidence that the Parramatta Eels need. Jazzy, you can rip away for game twos, mate. You can talk about the mighty
Nice and
Titans.
Titans. Yeah, We'll revisit this one later, right, when we get to the betting section. But this game, you tipped against the Titans, and it was the Titans' first win after like 4 or 5 weeks. But no, it was a great game. I watched this game, but Titans got up 24-20 at. It was away for the Titans, which was even better. How good. But yeah, a couple of match highlights. The Titans' remarkable comeback. So it was a 20-point turnaround, and it was a deficit to secure their first victory since round 4.
Wild.
AJ Brimson, yeah, had a great game. He scored the 78th minute try to seal the win for the Titans. But the Knights, they started really strong. So they actually led 20-0 after 28 minutes, but they were unable to maintain their momentum. So the coach would be ripping his hair out. Probably had a couple of words after the game. And then injury concerns for both teams. So Isaac Fa'asul Malawi, he failed his HIA. Greg Marzu left the game with a knee injury. But yeah, what a game, Rye. Couple of quotes from journalist Cameron Mee. The Titans took control of the match soon after trailing 20-0, running at 24 straight points to finish over the top of their opponents. Titans coach Justin Holbrook said that
Oh, it says he has not. That's my bad.
the boys showed incredible resilience and determination to come back from such a deficit. It's a testament to their character and hard work. And then Adam O'Brien, we had a great start but couldn't sustain it. We need to address our consistency and ensure we can maintain our performance throughout the game. And then AJ Brimson, it was a tough game, but we never gave up. The team effort was outstanding, and it's great to get the win. But yeah, props to the Titans. That was a great game, and I was cheer-hooing all over, right? It was such a great game. I was so stoked. I think I even got into the chat and just started spamming the Titans button. But yeah, it was great.
Hey, mate, I think it's the sort of win we needed to. Like, obviously, we haven't won in a long time, round 4, as it quotes here, but being down 20 points to 0, the old Titans, well, the current Titans, I guess you could say, would just go to bed and just, that's a loss. We're done. But I think since Tino's back this season, we have that bit more resiliency, and guys like RCG, yes, he's not as fast and as mobile as he used to be, but he has that winning pedigree and culture that I think is also helping that resiliency. But mate, Jaden Campbell being back made the biggest difference. Like, we're not scoring half those tries without JC. And AJ Brimson, he's just a gamer. Like, he just loves it. And it's a shame, obviously, he's defected to go on for the English national team when we go for the World Cup. So he's not eligible for Queensland anymore. But it was great to see Brimo getting 2 tries and 102 Super Coach points. You bloody beauty.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
go to
they're
that
doing
next game.
around.
Rabbitohs versus the Broncos. So Rabbitohs defeated the Broncos 22-14 at Accor Stadium in Sydney. So some match highlights. The Rabbitohs pulled off a stunning comeback, overcoming a 14-0 halftime deficit to win the game. Latrell Mitchell was a standout player, scoring a try in the final play and then nailing a 50-metre field goal in the 78th minute to break the 14-14 deadlock. It was a bloody two-pointer, crazy, 50 metres out. The Broncos suffered a significant blow with Ben Hunt succumbing to a hamstring injury, casting doubt, which he definitely won't be there for Origin 1, potentially Origin 2. And the Rabbitohs scored 22 unanswered points in the second half to secure the victory. So some quotes from post-match. We got journalist Cameron Mee quoting, Latrell Mitchell took centre stage with a stunning performance to cap an epic comeback victory over the Broncos. Rabbitohs coach Jason Demetrio, not Demetrio, we got Wayne Bennett. Latrell was phenomenal tonight. His leadership and skill were crucial in turning the game for us around. Madge Maguire quoted, it's a tough loss, especially after leading at halftime. We need to regroup and focus on our game. And we got Latrell Mitchell quoting, it was a team effort. We never gave up and kept pushing until the end. I'm proud of the boys. Morgan, you'll be Yahoo and Chahu and whatever you want to call it. Latrell Mitchell, what a kick. What a kick. Yeah, 50-metre field goal. 2 points. What are your thoughts, Gaz?
That was epic, hey. He just smacked that real good from 50 out, and it just kept climbing and climbing. I swear he could have probably kicked it from 60. But yeah,
Crazy.
what a great kick. That was amazing. That was a great game. But actually both those games, because there were such upsets too. Because yeah, the Broncos were favourites heading into that game, I'm pretty sure. So for the Rabbits to pull that one out of the hat, it was great. It was such a great game. Very close.
Yeah, and obviously that resiliency being shown to come down 14-0. But, mate, the Broncos, they're in a bit of a world of hurt at the moment. We could talk about their Ezra Mann situation. We can talk about letting go a couple of victories where they should have won. Situation A right now. Mate, Broncos are in a bit of trouble, I think. What are your thoughts about Broncos?
Yeah, they need a bit of a shake up too. They need to yeah, that resilience that you've been mentioning, they just looked out of it. Like even that Latrell Mitchell scoring the last try, like hands on hips, like they just gave up. And like never say die, I think in footy, you play to the siren, you played at 80 minutes and yeah, the Broncos just didn't look in it at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully with Ezra Mann, like it might bring something new because he's such a scintillating player. He's pretty electric too at 5'8".
Yep.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think with Ezra coming back, that's going to be only a good thing for the Bronx in regards to their play on field. Whether or not you agree with the whole suspension, if it was long enough, whatever. Obviously, did something extremely sinister, which arguably could have cut him out of the game for a much longer period of time. But with that Ben Hunt injury, he's coming back at the perfect time. What are your thoughts on the Latrell Mitchell cheeky try at the end? My perspective is that the Broncos switched off. Regardless if he looked like he surrendered, you still got to play to the whistle. Like, you didn't even touch the guy. You still got to wrap him up. Like, Latrell went down, probably stayed there for about 1.5, 2 seconds. Like, no one made contact with him. And then he's like, well, screw it. I'm just going to send it over the try line. I thought it was fair game just due to the
Yep.
laziness of the Broncos. Thoughts?
Yep. No, I agree. It's fair game. It's like it's not like he went to the ground. The ball didn't touch the ground, so it's like play on. And yeah, the I forget who it was, but he should have tackled him. But yeah, like I said before, it's like the Broncos are just kind of gave up.
All right, Gazzy, you got the next one before us, mate?
Oh right, round. So Raiders Bulldogs. That was a good game, but the final score Bulldogs won 32-20 at in Canberra. But with some match highlights, the Raiders started strong. They actually led 20-0 at halftime, and then the Bulldogs, a historic comeback. They scored 6 tries in the second half to win the game. Beck Crichton, he was instrumental for the Bulldogs' comeback. He inspiring his team with his performance. Interesting stat, the Raiders had 66% possession and completed 23 of 25 sets in the first half. And key players for the Raiders included Tarpanay, Hudson Young, and Morgan Smithies, who combined for 43 runs and 387 metres. So, a couple of quotes. So, journalist Brad Walters, he said the Bulldogs piled on 6 tries in the second half to run out 32 to 20 winners, equaling the biggest comeback in their history. So Seraldo was quoted, the boys showed incredible heart and determination to come back from such a deficit. It's a testament to their character and hard work. And then Raiders coach Ricky Stewart, we had a great start but couldn't sustain it. We need to address our consistency and ensure we can maintain our performance throughout the game. And then Stephen Crichton, the captain, it was a tough game, but we never gave up. The team effort was outstanding, and it's great to get the win. But yeah, great game. Another great one. I feel like the whole round was great. A lot of good games there. But yeah, what do you think, Rye? Bulldogs, Raiders?
Oh, mate. It's a tale of two stories, isn't it, mate? Like, the Raiders looked like a championship winning team in the first half, and then you could argue the Bulldogs looked like a championship winning team in the second half. 20-0 at half time, you'd bloody think the Raiders would carry on with at least get the victory, but testament to the Bulldogs, and I guess why you can say they're coming first for that reason, that resiliency that they've showed. Obviously, Stephen Crichton's been absolutely huge for them. I know for a fact that in the locker room, people were like looking at Stephen Crichton. Stephen Crichton just pretty much gave them the look in the eyes, like, we got this. He was cool. He was calm, collected, and that's what you want from your captain. And he literally just like, give me the ball, and I'm going to make something happen. And that's what he did. I think he got like 2 to 3 tries in the second half. Definitely cementing his spot in the centres, and I think we both, as obviously, we agreed upon that. But yeah, Raiders shut the bed, mate. Like, up 20-0 in Canberra, and you go down 32 unanswered. That's just unacceptable. Ricky Stewart would have probably lit a TNT, sorry, in the locker room.
100%. Couldn't see that. Ricky Stewart would have gone off his chops.
Oh,
But yeah.
mate. But what do you say? If you're Ricky Stewart, Gaz, what would you say to the boys?
Pull your head in, boys. Nah. Yeah, it's a tough one being a coach, hey. But yeah, would absolutely rip in because they did really well in the first half, right? The stats don't lie. They completed really well, like at like quick math, but like 92% or something like that in the first half. So bit of a bummer, a bit of a buzzkill. But second half, I think they'll have a lot to take out of that game. But yeah, with Ricky Stewart, hopefully getting onto the boys, they'll most likely win their next game.
Yeah, against the Titans.
Oh no, the Titans
In Canberra. Yay. Yeah, what can you say, mate? Like, the tale of two stories, but yeah, Ricky Stewart will get the boys up next week. But again, got to give credit where credit's due. Well done to the Bulldogs. Well done to the leadership of Crichton and the coaching of Seraldo and all the staff there with the Bulldogs. Next game, we got the Dragons versus the Warriors. Another close encounter. So we got the Warriors winning 15-14 at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. So some match highlights. The Warriors secured a narrow victory with a 70-minute field goal by Luke Metcalf. The Dragons leveled the scores 14-14, but fell short in the final moments. The Warriors now have 4 straight games, climbing into outright second spot on the ladder, up the Waz. The Dragons had a strong showing from their fans, but it wasn't enough to secure the win. Some quotes from post-match. We got journalist Martin Lenham quoting, "Another win sees the Warriors climb into outright second place ahead of the Raiders after Luke Metcalf's 70th minute field goal to secure a 15-14 win." Coach Andrew Webster for the Warriors quoted, "The boys showed great composure and resilience to secure the win. It's fantastic results for us." Dragons coach was quoted, "We fought hard and had our chances, but we need to be better in those crucial moments." And Lukey Metcalf quoted, "It was a tight game, but we stuck to our plan and it paid off. The team effort was outstanding." Guys, all I can say is up the Waz, mate. What are your thoughts?
Up the was. Yes, it was a great game and so close too. Um, yep, the Warriors they're going really well this season, and they're notoriously in previous seasons they've always gone out like so quickly from the start. Um, Same thing with this year. This round has been, or for this season so far, has been great for them. Um, I hope they can stay. That's their problem in recent years. It's like they can't stay in the top eight. Um, so hopefully, leading into coming into mid season, and then heading towards the end of the season, that they can keep winning a couple of those games, so they can stay in the top eight, because they're real contenders this year. The Warriors. So, and they've got such a loyal fan base too. So, really, really hoping that the Warriors can, stay and maintain their form.
Yeah, and they've got blokes like RTS coming back. They got DWZ back in that game. Potentially getting Joey Manu mid-season. Still a smoky to come back from Japanese rugby and still putting on that one. But yeah, Fish is coming back, obviously. All these young fellas and all these reps, they're bringing so much enthusiasm into this team. Luke Metcalf is absolutely braining it after a very, let's say at best, inconsistent start at the season. Dragons, mate, they're just tale of two stories. I've been saying this all night. It might be the theme for tonight's show. Um, they've good one week, bad the next, dynamic in one area, shocking in the next. Yeah, Dragons, mate, they're very hard to tip for. I think they are still lacking some composure. Obviously, King Tonga, that was his second game in first grade this year. He's only going to get better with more reps. Is he ready yet? Probably not. Is anyone else ready to step up? No. They are going to lose a few guys in Zachy Lomax to not Zach Lomax, uh, Valentine Holmes to Origin. Clint Gutherson's looking a bit. Yeah, how are you going? He's obviously went red hot at the start, and a bit of his age is maybe catching up to him, or his body is catching up to him. Yeah, very hard to tip against, but yeah, the Dragons. Yeah, not sure, but all I can say is yeah, up the wires.
Up the
All right, Gazzy, you got this one,
right.
brother.
This next game, right? Well, Cowboys Panthers. What a battle! Went to Golden Point, and ended in a draw. So no
Crazy.
one after 90 minutes, which is hectic. It was such a great game, this one. But played in Townsville. A few highlights. The game ended in a 30-30 draw after extra time. Robert Derby and Tommy Dearden, they scored late tries to send the game into extra time. The Panthers twice led by 12 points but couldn't break the deadlock after 90 minutes. And then Blaze Talagi, he was a standout for the Panthers. He scored 4 tries. Well, he laid on 4 tries, assisted, and then scored one himself. Journalist Brad Walters, he was quoted, "The Panthers appeared set to record back-to-back wins after rookie 5'8" Blaze Talagi laid on 4 tries and scored one himself, but the Cowboys fought back against the odds." Cowboys coach Todd Payton, the boys showed incredible resilience and determination to come back and secure the draw. It's a testament to their character and hard work. And then Panthers coach Ivan Cleary, it's a tough result, but we need to take the positives and build on them. The boys played well, but we need to be better in these crucial moments. And then Tommy Dearden, it was a tough game, but we never gave up. The team effort was outstanding, and it's great to get the draw. So, yeah, overall, right, this was such a great game. Very thrilling, like 30-30. You don't get many draws, and it was up and down. Hey, like someone would score, then the next time someone else would score. Like it would just be up and down like that. So, yeah, great game, this one. What were your thoughts on that one?
Um, yeah, I think no team deserved to lose. I think that's the best result. And again, we always want a golden point thriller with a field goal, but in some cases like this one, it's kind of nice to see both teams get some spoils of the fruit, I guess you could say. Um, Robert Derby, he's in my super coach team, picked him up at like 350K, absolutely brained it. and
Mm.
then he had a shocking game in this one. I think he had like 5 errors or something, and people were asking for his heads halfway through the game. But obviously, as we can see in our notes here, Gaz scored that late try, so hopefully that boosted his confidence. Then Tommy Dearden's putting his hand up for Origin. Blaze Talangi, it's great to see he's finding some form after a slow start to the year, not getting a chance, obviously coming back from injury as well. But again, it's kind of nice to just see both teams get something out of such a hard fought game. It's kind of devastating and heartbreaking when you're losing by 1 point. So,
Mm.
yeah, not the worst case scenario for both teams. And I think both teams will be happy with that result, particularly the Panthers getting a draw up in Townsville. And now they're
Mm.
going into the bye this week. So, yeah, 3 points in 2 weeks. You can't complain about that.
Mm.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And Ryan, how about before we move on to the next one, how about these shots at goals? In the
Oh,
last 10
mate.
minutes, there was so many that were just curved off to the right, and you were like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
I tell you what,
Goodness.
the Cowboys will be missing Val Holmes, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes. Need a kicker.
Yeah, and then same with Panthers missing Luai. But anyway,
Yeah.
next game, an absolute demolition. So we got the Storm versus the West Tigers. So the final score was 64-0 to the Melbourne Storm at Amy Park. So some match highlights, guys. We got the Storm dominated from start to finish, leading 34-0 at halftime and continuing their dominance in the second half. My boy Ryan Pappenhausen was a standout player, scoring 4 tries and converting 10 out of 11 goals. Other key contributors included Josh King, Jerome Hughes, Nick Meaney, Nas, Eli Katoa, Cameron Munster, and Bronson Garlick, all whom scored tries. The Tigers struggled to find any rhythm and were unable to score throughout the match. A journalist was quoted, "The Storm flexed their premiership muscle with a huge 64-0 win over the West Tigers, who simply had no answers at Amy Park." Coach Bellamy quoted, "The boys executed the game plan perfectly. Ryan Pappenhausen was phenomenal, and the team showed great discipline and effort. West Tigers coach Benji Marshall, it was a tough day for us. We need to regroup and work on our fundamentals. Credit to the Storm, they were outstanding." And my boy Ryan Pappenhausen quoted, "It was a fun day out. The team played really well, and I'm happy to contribute to the win." Ryan Pappenhausen, you literally got 36 points. You broke the Melbourne Storm record for the most points in a game. Kudos to you. Well done, my friend. Benji Marshall, mate. He'd just be absolutely gut punched, I guess is the word to say. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be torn, hey, Benji Marshall. He's like trying so hard, and then for this to happen, it'd be down the dumps. But yeah, what a performance by the Storm! Like 64 points, and then keeping the West Tigers to 0 really shows how dominant they are. And kudos to them. Um, Pappenhausen, for all those that captain Pappenhausen, how good! Like over 300 points, cheering.
Mate, 180
Um,
points. We
yeah,
got
so
360.
good. It's a lot of personal bests, I reckon. Hey, right, a lot of PBs, probably for a lot of people, which is great. Yeah, they're going to rebuild the West Tigers. Like they have done a lot better already this season. Like they've proved that they can win games. So compared to previous seasons, that they should be super proud of themselves.
Yeah. And after Melbourne Storm's performance 2 weeks ago now, they were definitely looking to perform this week against the Tigers. So it's just one of those ones where it's like Trent Leo didn't have a good game. You had Stefano not having a good game, essentially blowing the game in the final minutes. Last or 2 weeks ago, you knew Melbourne were going to come out at Amy Park and absolutely blitz the Tigers. Should have put a bet on anyway. um, but it was good to see that the Storm continued on with it. So they've had games like this earlier this year where they've blown out a team 30 to 40 points in the first half, and then they sort of put the gas pedal off, put the handbrake on, as one could say. It was good to see they actually went all the way to the end. And it's good to see some guys like Bronson Garlick getting some reps in at hooker. So it sort of leaves a bit of pressure off Harry Grant to sort of make that immediate return, which is good to see. And blokes like unsung heroes like Josh King, great to see him get some much needed credit as well.
Yeah. All right.
Last
Let's
game.
close out last round. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, Sharks versus Eagles, 28-16 to the Sharks. Played in Sydney, but the Sharks, they secured a solid victory over the Seagulls with strong performance in both halves. The key players for the Sharks, Hines, he orchestrated a lot of the attack, and then Katoa scored 2 tries that game. Seagulls had moments of brilliance, but they were unable to match the Sharks' consistency and execution. The defense from the Sharks was particularly impressive, holding off several strong attacking sets from the Seagulls. A journalist was quoted mainly see Eagles take on Cronulla Sharks in round 10 of the. That is such a great quote. That's a
Straight
funny
from the
one.
article. So.
They take on in round 10. I love it. Um, Craig Fitzgibbon was quoted, "The boys played with great intensity and focus. Nico Hines was exceptional and our defence held strong when it mattered." And then Anthony Seibold, "We had our chances but couldn't capitalise. The Sharks were the better team today and we need to learn from this." And then Nico Hines, "It was a tough game, but we stuck to our plan and it paid off. The team effort was outstanding." Love it, right? I love that journalist quote.
That's so funny.
It's
I'm
so
gonna blow
good.
that one up.
It is a good quote. Yeah.
Co-pilot, guys.
With the screenshot
Co-pilot.
of it and post it. No, gotta laugh at it. It was a good game to close it out. The Sharks. I wish Joshy Randall was on the podcast. I'll ask him how
Mm.
he felt about that one. But um, the Sharks. I did tip the Sharks. They were the better team that day. I can't really remember any key talking points, Rye, for that one.
Um, yeah, I tipped Manly. I thought Tom Trbojevic was just looking to pop off. But again, we had that news story earlier regarding the Manly Seagulls with Daly Cherry Evans and that whole saga that's going to happen right now. I think I think we keep underrating the Sharks, or I do sometimes. They've been a top 4 team for the past 4 years now. And again, Coach Fitzgibbon needs to get a round of applause for what he's done with that club. And I think the biggest thing is Nico Hines is finally attacking. He's got that confidence back. He's got that swagger back where he's actually setting up the boys for some tries. Trindle's still doing his thing, but yeah, Nico Hines is definitely doing more in the red zone where Trindle's sort of just controlling the boys getting out of their own half. But again, that's a good balance and that's what you need. Yeah, Manly. That news article might be spot on, Gaz, going off the scoreline. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with you with Hines finding a bit of form. I think he's been copping a lot of not hate, but just a bit of in social media and around town. But he has proven that he is getting better. Like he's quite consistent these days, and he might not be the flashiest half, but he gets the job done, and he's been doing that pretty consistently over the last couple of games for the Sharks. So
Yeah.
yeah, really, really great to see.
Yeah. And it's good. Such a nice guy too. It's good to see he's running back into form, and who knows, Nico Hines might be officially back to his golden self. But yeah, that's the round 10 results, and ChatGPT also, again, we said earlier, got that 5 from 8, so well done, ChatGPT. But Gazzy, more importantly, we're back to the betting between me and you, and I tell you what, the race has tightened up. I was chirping, I was yee-hawing, I was up 3 points, and then this week happened. So the Dolphins versus the Eels, we both tipped the Dolphins, and we both got that right. Now, the controversial call. The boys ripping into me, including yourself on the Supercoach chat, and I had to get the short
Yeah.
form video up. But I did say, I quoted, I guarantee if I tip the Knights, the Titans will win. And what happened, Gazzy? The Titans won. That's what
The
we want.
Titans won. Yeah, the
So,
reverse
Gaz,
psychology. I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
I did say it. And I tell you what,
Yeah.
Gaz, I'm happy to tip against the Titans every single week if that means the Titans win every single week. So if that makes me do a marathon and the Gold Coast end up coming in the top 4, I'll do it, mate. So,
He's
but yeah, anyway,
trying second one
Knights
for the
versus,
team.
Yeah. Knights versus Titans. So again, I tipped the Knights, you tipped the Titans. So Gazzy got that one right. Broncos versus Rabbits. We both did the Broncos, got that one wrong. Raiders versus the Doggies. Again, the tale of the two stories. We should just end the game at halftime and I would have won. But yeah, you got that one right. And I got that wrong. Wars versus the Dragons. We both tipped the Wars. Cowboys versus Panthers. Both did the Panthers. It was a draw, so no points there. Storm versus Tigers. Both did the Storm. And then Manly versus the Sharks. You tipped the Sharks and you got that point. So, Gazzy, you got 6 points and I got 3. So, you've instantly closed the gap. We are now even. But the bold predictions.
Ooh.
I said Storm to put 40 points on the Tigers. Got that right. Turbo double and Manly to win. Definitely got that wrong. I said DWZ to get a double and the Wars to win. And what were your bold predictions, Gaz?
Mitchell Moses goes 90 plus in Supercoach. So I think I reused that one. Rabbits to win, which I got right. And Titans to win by 12 plus. Uh, but they won, but didn't win by 12 plus.
Yeah. But yeah, the Rabbitohs was a bit of banter because we are just talking shit how bad they were, but I'll give it to you just for fun. So after round 10, we're both on 42 points. How the tides have turned. So, Gazzy, round
True.
11 tips. Knights versus Eels. I got the Knights. Who you got?
I've got the Knights too for that one.
Yep. Dogs versus Roosters. Who you got?
I got the Dogs.
Yep, I got Dogs as well. Finns versus Wars. Who you got?
Up the Waz.
I got the Wars as well. Cowboys versus Manly.
I got Cowboys for that one.
Yep, same here. Sharkies versus Storm.
I got the Storm.
Yep, both got Storm. Bronx versus Dragons.
Go on, Broncos.
Yeah, they're due for a bounce back. Ezra Mann return game. Raiders versus Titans, Gary.
I've gone Titans, right? I can't tip against them.
And I'm doing the old reverse
Oh, no.
psychology. I'm doing the Raiders. And then we
Oh,
got the Tigers
wow.
versus the Rabbitohs. Who you got?
I've got the Rabbits for that one.
Yeah, so do I. After that 64-0 loss, it's kind of scary. But saying that, Terrell May might not be getting an Origin. He might be putting a show for the ages for the West Tigers. But Gary, back to that Raiders Titans. I'm going to keep doing it until it doesn't work. So, got
So
to
that's
try
the
something.
difference. It's going to be very interesting
Yeah,
because then
that's the
if the
only
Raiders
game.
win, yep, that's the only difference. So if the Raiders win, you're up by 1. I'm going to start training for a marathon. If I win, you better start training.
Alrighty. So, bold predictions this week. I've got 3 out of the 4 Queensland teams to win. I've got the Broncos to win and both Broncos wingers to score a try. And I've got 1 player out of the entire NRL to score a hat trick. What have you got, Gaz?
Nice. I've got Hammer to score a double against Warriors. I reckon hopefully he turns it on. Tommy Dearden to get 80 plus in Supercoach. So
Mm-hmm.
exciting. And Payne Haas to score a double and Broncos to win.
Yeah. So, guys, it's getting hotly contested. It's going to be very interesting. But I think, I'm getting scared. Not going to lie, especially with my Titan strategy, almost throwing away a game potentially. But such is life. All right, guys, we'll go 1 for 1 here, but this is ChatGPT's Cap or Fact for round 11. So Knights versus Eels. ChatGPT predicts that the Knights will beat the Eels 22-18. And ChatGPT reckons they'll win because the Knights have shown strong form at home, winning their last 3 games against the Eels at McDonald Jones Stadium. And the Eels have struggled on Fridays, winning only 2 of their last 14 Friday games and conceding 20 points or more on each of that run. That's actually a sick statistic.
Hmm. Huh. Are we going Cap or Fact?
Yep. So Bulldogs versus Roosters, Gazzy, round 11.
Yep. So the Roosters, they've got a strong. Hang on. So the prediction is that Roosters is 26, Bulldogs is 20, and ChatGPT reckons that the Roosters have a strong record against the Bulldogs, winning 10 of their last 12 games. Interesting. And then despite the Bulldogs' recent form, the Roosters' experience and depth should give them the edge in this matchup. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Mm. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Uh, Finns versus Warriors. So we got the Finns 24, the Warriors 18. ChatGPT predicts that the Dolphins have a solid home record at Suncorp Stadium, winning 4 out of their past 5 games there. And the Warriors have struggled as their away side at Suncorp, losing 6 in a row. Interesting stat.
Hmm. We have to say cap or fact. I reckon
Oh, yeah, true.
that's fact. No, actually,
Yeah.
that's cap. I reckon Warriors will win.
Yeah, we both did the Wires, didn't we? So we have to say cap.
Yeah.
Got to be consistent.
That's good. We're getting there. All right, I'll go Cowboys, Sea Eagles. So ChatGPT reckons that the Sea Eagles will get up 28-24. And the reasons are that the Sea Eagles, they've got a strong record in Townsville, winning 5 in a row against the Cowboys. And then Manly's recent form and ability to perform well on Saturdays should see them edge out the Cowboys. That's an interesting one. Yeah,
Cap or fact, guys.
I have gone the did I go the Cowboys? I'm pretty sure I went the
Yeah.
Cowboys. So I want to say that's cap. I mean, Cowboys.
Yeah, I say cap too. All right, Sharkies versus Storm. So we got the Storm beating the Sharks 20-16, and ChatGPT reckons the Storm have been in excellent form, and their defensive strength should help them secure a narrow victory over the Sharks. The Sharks have been competitive, but the Storm's experience and tactical discipline give them the edge. That's straight up facts.
Hmm. Yeah, same facts for that one. Broncos versus Dragons. So the prediction is that Broncos will score 30, Dragons 14, and that's because the Broncos have been strong at home and should continue their good form against the Dragons. The Dragons have struggled defensively, and the Broncos' attacking prowess should exploit this. And I think that's facts. Broncos to win that game.
Yeah, I'll say facts too. Well done, ChatGPT. So Raiders versus Titans. So you got the Raiders 28 and the Titans 12. So the Raiders have been solid at home and should have the upper hand against the Titans. The Titans have had defensive issues, which the Raiders are likely to capitalize on. Well, I would like to say cap, but my tip says fact, but I'm going to stick with cap.
Yeah, nice, right, nice. I'm going cap up the Titans. Let's
The
go.
Titans.
And then West Tigers and Rabbitohs. So ChatGPT's predicted the Rabbits 24 against the West Tigers 18. So a close one, six the difference. But the reasons is that Rabbitohs have shown resilience and should edge out the West Tigers in a close contest. The Tigers have been inconsistent, and the Rabbitohs' experience should see them through. And I'm going to say facts. I think, yeah, pretty spot on
Yeah,
there, ChatGPT.
I say facts, and I think it'll be about one try. So yeah, pretty good prediction. But yep, time will tell for next week, Gazzy. But I think tell you what, ChatGPT's been on fire recently, so some of those results could be pretty good. Now, Gazzy, to conclude the
Mm.
show, as per usual, we got the Tinny Awards. So the Hit Stick Award this week, we got Herbie Farnworth's try-saving tackle against the Eels. Pardon me, was a textbook example of defensive brilliance. His hit not only presented a certain try or prevented a certain try, but also shifted the momentum in the favour of the Dolphins. And again, as we mentioned earlier, resulted in that victory. We got the Hit 'em Gem Award. We got Lukey Metcalf from the Warriors. Again, only started at halfback this season. He was previously a 5'8". So Luke Metcalf's under the radar performance was pivotal in the Warriors' narrow 15-14 victory over over the Dragons. His 70th minute field goal secured the win, showcasing his composure and skill. Now, the Not So Super Coach Award. I got 2 blokes here. I got DCE with 11 points with 102 break even. His form slump's quite evident, and Manly's decline could warrant a Queensland jersey that could be taken away from him. And in the runner-up, I've also got Jamie Humphreys, which has got 107 BE. He also scored 6 points. I thought he got injured when I went through Supercoach, but he actually played the full 80, which is quite concerning. But he's had his first game back, but still, yeah, pretty rough performance for the halfback there. The Supercoach played the round of the ward. Obviously, it's Ryan Pappenhausen. He got 182 points. He now's got a break in of a 10. He got 4 tries, 10 goals, and I tell you what, if you go rewatch that game, he actually could have got 6 tries. Like, he was actually insane. The bloke who needs a tinny. I'm going to give it to Benji Marshall and the entire West Tigers team. So Benji's got to deal with the Galvin situation. You get pumped by 64 to nil by Melbourne Storm, and then you got Jerome Luai's dad, Martin Luai, asking Jerome Luai should jump out of his contract, and is Jerome Luai a halfback for the West Tigers? Huge. Needs many tinnies. Maybe she come to the Bucks party. I don't know.
Many, many.
And the last one, the illustrious Golden Tinny Award. We have two today. I couldn't actually split it. It was Ryan Pappenhausen for obvious reasons, as we said in the Supercoach Play of the Round Award. The 4 tries, huge Supercoach play, 10 out of 11 goals, which is also insane. But also, I'd like to give a huge rap to Latrell Mitchell. His match-defining field goal from like 50 metres out, which was ridiculous. And then obviously did that cheeky little try at the end when the Broncos switched off. But yeah, that match-defining field goal, 50 metres out, is huge and definitely deserves a tinny for that one. So, Gazzy, there's 2 games I've got for us to watch this weekend, or for the viewers, I should say. The Sharks versus Storm, obviously they're 2 heavy hitters. The battle of the halfbacks between Nico Hines and Jerome Hughes. Pappenhausen's potentially playing for a fullback jersey. Yeah, great one to watch. And then this one, I think, is the game of the round. It's the Cowboys versus Manly. So again, Dearden's gone to halfback. DCE's having a bit of turmoil with the club. Players are potentially hating on him because he's leaving. Origin spot up for grabs potentially. This one is the game of the round. So, Gazzy,
Yeah, 100%.
that's Tackles and Tinnies for episode 13. We are cruising along. We're almost halfway through the season, almost at Origin time. What are your final thoughts, mate?
Proud of us, hey. Practice makes perfect, right? I was saying this before, but we're pretty much professional podcasters now, aren't we? We're due for the prime time. Someone send us a contract. No,
Ready for
it's
that
it's
major
it's a
studio
great.
deal.
It's good fun, and I'm hoping that the listeners are enjoying themselves too,
Yeah.
listening to us. Have a lot
And
of
guys,
banter.
we apologize with Gazzy's potential video upload. Don't know exactly what's happened. Could just be a intranet sort of thing from Zencaster. We don't know. See what happens post production, but yeah, everything will be back to normal next week as promised. But again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Gary and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's a big one today, almost 2 hours, which is unreal. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear about our Origin predicted teams. We want to hear about your Supercoach teams. If you've got any fan questions you just want us to answer, please do so. Again, we're across all different platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, we're on it. But again, like, subscribe, and I say it every single time, but I have to do it. It's a part of the thing. But you have no idea how much actually helps the algorithm when you do that. Okay, again, the more that we pop up, the more that we can do, better production value, etc., etc. You know the deal. Also, want to give a big shout out to Adam, who jumped onto the fantasy files earlier on this week. Provided some great intel looking at the buy rounds and Origin coming up, and actually provided some good advice for once. So thank you, Adam. And Gazzy, any last words?
No, that's it. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your week.